Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. My name is Finbar Dolan, and I am the CEO of Versono Medical. Versono Medical is a minimally invasive vascular device technology company focused on transforming the endovascular treatment of the severest complex occlusions or blockages in arteries in the patients who experience the worst of these with critical limb-threatening ischemia who have the most advanced form of peripheral artery disease. There are over 200 million people worldwide who suffer from peripheral artery disease, and in the US and Europe alone, 8 million people who have critical limb-threatening ischemia. It's hugely undertreated, and despite this, there are over 2 million procedures done annually to treat critical limb-threatening ischemia, half of which are done endovascularly through the arteries, which accounts for the $10 billion market for peripheral vascular balloons and stents and atherectomy devices, and the other half receive open surgery in the form of endarterectomy, grafts, and an increasing number of amputations. Patients who receive a diagnosis of critical limb-threatening ischemia face the same mortal prospects as patients who receive a diagnosis of an aggressive cancer. 1 year after diagnosis, 25% of patients will have died. 5 years after diagnosis, 60% of patients will have died. And worse, in many ways, these patients, 30% of them will receive an amputation within the first year at huge expense to themselves personally, to their families, to the community, the healthcare system, and the general economy as a whole. One of the patients that was treated in our first-in-human study recently had a toe just like this one. But the lady, who was just 35 years of age, had an extensive blockage in her thigh. So instead of receiving an amputation for her toe, she was about to receive an amputation of her entire leg. And you can imagine the cost of that emotionally as well as financially. But what it showed, and what studies such as the PRIME study, the Liberty 360 studies, and many other studies, is that successful endovascular treatment can prevent amputation. However, not all endovascular procedures are successful. And this is principally because of the composition of these complex blockages or lesions, which have a consistency of cement and tar. They're calcified and fibrous, hard and tough, and the prevent guide wires, the little wires that are introduced to your vasculature that cross the blockage and deliver the therapy to reopen the vessel, can't do their job. Some experienced physicians can attempt to cross using complex techniques, but these are time-consuming and often fail. And less experienced physicians attempt to do so less often and have far greater failure. And even the most experienced physicians are very cautious about treating below-the-knee tibial arteries because they're much finer and tortuous, for fear of damaging those vessels and opening up the risk of further surgical intervention. So Versono's FastWire technology can cross these lesions and deliver the therapy quickly. It can cross all types of lesions, of all composition and in all anatomies, above the knee and below the knee and elsewhere. It's safe because it's supple and it can conform to the shape of the arteries, and it's simple to use, so a single operator can use the device, push the button to turn it on and push another to turn it off. More importantly, and important from an investor point of view, is that it is a truly transformational technology. And there is a series of products in a product pipeline for further therapeutic and diagnostic indications to follow. Compared to its competition, FastWire can allow physicians to treat those patients today above the knee and below the knee. And critically important, from a physician's point of view, it's much more compact. It's easier for the physician to purchase without involving all of the other departments within the hospital, and so it eases adoption. Versono has spent a lot of time working with physicians around the world, and with over 30 positions between the US and Europe, from interventional radiology, interventional cardiology, and vascular surgery, all of the types of physicians who try and treat this disease. And throughout COVID, we worked with the team of those types of doctors to put their eyes and hands on the device so that we were creating something meaningful. I'm really blessed to be able to work with three of the foremost physicians in this field in the world. Dr. Jihad Mustafa, who convenes the amputation prevention conferences in the US and Europe each year. Dr. Thomas Seller, who is one of the most respected peripheral vascular interventionists in Europe. And Dr. Craig Walker, who convenes the New Cardiovascular Horizons and is one of the foremost and leading figures in the whole field. These physicians believe that FastWire can revolutionize the market and can transform the treatment and drastically improve the treatment of their patients. To date, Versono has raised over 12 million euros to bring the product beyond approval. We've built a highly capable and competent team to execute. We've received approval for our ISO 1345 certification, and we've aligned with the FDA on our pivotal IDE study for later this year. We've advanced the technology, and we've protected those advances through a broad series of patents in the US and around the world. We have further demonstrated or proven the potential of the technology by receiving a Disruptive Technology Innovation Fund in order to commercialize that IP portfolio and productize those solutions and the pipeline of products that lead Versono into the future. But most importantly, we've completed a successful first-in-human clinical study on patients who had the severest forms of calcification in their vessels. And we treated 3 times more below-the-knee disease than above-the-knee disease. It's been terribly exciting working with the team in Versono Medical over the last number of years, bringing the product from concept through benchtop and through to preclinical animal and fresh cadaver studies and a successful first-in-human study. And we're about to begin our pivotal work over the coming year. And we're currently seeking $13 million to bring the product to a very structured and controlled limited market release, leading to a full market release over the next number of years. What Versono offers investors is an experienced management team that have commercialized a large number of medical devices, vascular medical devices in the past, and an experienced non-executive board of directors composed of people like John O'Shaughnessy, who's the founder and chairman of Neuravi. Peter Walsh used to run all of Medtronic's global operations manufacturing. Marshall Claffey, who is a senior VP in Johnson & Johnson with clinical regulatory background. Nigel Jones, who is the founder of the Linklaters IP practice. This is on top of a really, truly world-class clinical advisory board. Our investors are all domain investors, Medtech and clinical professionals. We're in the highest growth segment in vascular with the highly effective device technology that can not only solve this tremendous global need, but also provide a progressive technology platform into the future. And just to clarify a little bit on that, FastWire can not only migrate from peripheral anatomies into coronary and beyond, but we have a progressive technology disruption pipeline as well that will allow us to go for vascular preparation and also sensing over the next number of years, funded through the Disruptive Innovation Technology Fund. So thank you very much. I look forward to speaking to you if you have any questions and would like to know more about Versono after the meeting. Thank you.